Hi everyone, I'm Ellen and I'd like to introduce Tiffany, who's an 8th grader here at GMS, heading to Sacred Heart next year. And Tiffany was really awesome to work with because she, when we met, she already knew a whole lot of programming, much more than my previous mentees. So we were able to just dive into web programming, which has been fun. We have a live website now with some games that you can play. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. You're super motivated and really fun. Take it away.
Which one do you press?
Bottom.
The what?
The other way.
Okay. All right. So my mentor was Ellen Blaine, and I wanted to make a game website. And first of all, I want to introduce my mentor. Her name was Ellen Blaine. She's a student at Sanford, and she has a master's in CS. And her favorite piece of coding would be coding websites. And she is interested in education about technology. And she's from LA and enjoys hiking. Okay, so what was my main goal and for this year that I had to work with her? And so I wanted to make a website for all ages, and I wanted to put it on the internet so anyone can have opportunity to see it and see how it came along. And so the reason I wanted to put it on the web was because I wanted to show everyone what I was learning, and that I wanted to show that creating is a process, and I don't think I'll ever see my website as a finished project, but as a continuing one. And and so I hope that it would get some popularity here at GMS, but also from everyone, not everyone, but like just people that would like to go on it, because it's just fun to see a lot of people be interested in your work and see how it all came along at the end. And okay, so I'll show you my demo later, but I made a game website with some style to it, and it has a navigation bar which is linked to other pages, which is where the games are. And we made a flashcard game which just asks questions to the user, and you use the spacebar to see the final answer. And we made a coloring game, which is where you can color. And we are on the journey to continue to create a hangman game. And we plan to make these games up here, but we didn't have time because I decided to delve more into JavaScript since it was a total new language for me, and I think it's just better to delve more into a language you don't know than just creating games that you're gonna look back at and say, how did I create this, or just like how did it come along. And just knowing the language will help you create more games, and in this case anything that has to do with JavaScript. So my old routine with Ellen was basically she would make like a skeleton or an outline for me about the code we were going to work on, and she would put to do. So maybe we had like a function, and she said, okay, here, create a function that will make the user click on this color and be able to draw with it. And then she would put a hint and say, maybe you can try this. And by the end of it, as I went progressing and learning more about JavaScript, we went into whiteboarding, which some of her friends recommended to her. And it's where I can start from scratch and have help from her, and just be able to create a game, but not from an outline, just from scratch. And so it has been a great journey learning a new language. And even though it was challenging, I found it to be helpful if I want to make something later in the future. And so although I'm still confused on some things, I can know that there's always, she showed me some resources on some websites that I can go to. And I also learned coding. The commenting is always good on your coding, because you can always look back on it and say, this is what I did, or this is what I have to do. And it's always a guide for other people to know, this is how she did her program, and this is maybe this can help me create my own code. And so I just want to quickly, so this is the part of the Hangman program which we are working on, and this is from Python, which I did in my CS class. And this is basically just quickly explain it. So wrong guesses, which is just, so a person is guessing, and this is the amount of guesses they have gotten, then a certain thing will be drawn. But this, in JavaScript, it's kind of the same thing, but instead of, in this case, if lives equals a certain amount of number, it will straightly go to, if lives equals 3, then it will straight go to drawing the left eye. And in Python, it would have to go through, does wrong guesses equal A, or does wrong guesses equal 7? So it has to go through every step, and then this one is just jump straight to it. And these are just some other comparisons between them. So the print statements in Python. So if you directly put this in, it would execute it as exactly as what you put in the parentheses. But in JavaScript, you have to include console. Then this has to be a string, which is something more complicated. And creating functions. This is how they look different. They just look different overall, but they mean the same thing. But yeah. And my demo for the website. So, there you go. Okay, so there's just a quick introduction, the title. This is one of the games. And this is the part where you can draw. And this is the game that's coming soon. Yeah, that's it. It was just a thank you slide.